The desert stretched endlessly in every direction, a sea of sand that swallowed hope and spat out bones. Vin Diesel crouched behind a crumbling stone wall, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the mercenaries who had been hunting them for 3 days straight. Beside him, Princess Lisa sat with her back against the sun-baked stone, her royal robes torn and dusty, her crown long abandoned somewhere in the wasteland behind them. "They're getting closer," Ven whispered, his voice rough from dehydration. "We need to move." Lisa shook her head, her dark hair matted with sand and sweat. "Not yet. We follow the rules. Rule number 1, never move during daylight. The heat will kill us faster than their bullets." Ven clenched his jaw. Those damn rules. When he'd been assigned as her bodyguard 3 weeks ago, she'd made him memorize them. 3 rules for survival, she'd said, rules that had kept her alive through to assassination attempts and a palace coup. Rule 1, never move during daylight in hostile territory. Rule 2, trust no one outside the inner circle. Rule 3, always have an escape route before entering any situation. They'd already broken Rule 3 when the ambush happened at the oasis. Now, hiding in the ruins of an ancient trading post, Vin could hear the engines of the mercenaries' vehicles growing louder. The sun was directly overhead, merciless and blinding. Moving now would be suicide, but staying meant certain capture or death. "Your Highness," Ven said, the formal title feeling strange on his tongue after days of running for their lives together. "With all due respect, your rules were made for normal circumstances. This isn't normal." Lisa's green eyes flashed with the same stubbornness that had made her beloved by her people and feared by her enemies. "These rules kept me alive when my own uncle tried to poison me. They kept me alive when rebels stormed the Western Palace. They work. Diesel, we wait." Ven peered over the wall again. 3 vehicles, maybe 15 men, all armed to the teeth. They were sweeping the area methodically, and they'd reached this position in less than 10 minutes. The princess's canteen was empty, and Vin's had maybe 2 swallows left. They hadn't eaten in over a day. Moving in this heat was dangerous, but staying was guaranteed death. He looked at Lisa, really looked at her. Despite the dirt and exhaustion, despite the fear that flickered occasionally in her eyes, she held herself with dignity. She'd never once complained during their escape, never once asked him to sacrifice himself so she could get away. She'd shared their meager supplies equally, insisted on taking her turn keeping watch even though he was the trained soldier in another life. She was a princess and he was just a hired gun. But out here, in this hell of sand and sun, they were just 2 people trying to survive. "I'm sorry," Ven said quietly. Before Lisa could respond, he scooped her up in his arms and started running. She gasped in shock, then began struggling. "Put me down. Are you insane? The heat will kill us slower than those bullets," Ven finished, his legs pumping as he raced away from the ruins. Behind them, shouts erupted as the mercenaries spotted them. Gunfire cracked through the air, bullets whining past their heads. Ven ran with everything he had, his lungs burning, sweat streaming down his face. Lisa had stopped struggling, her arms wrapped around his neck, her body pressed close as he zigzagged through the dunes. The vehicles roared to life, engines screaming as they gave chase. "There," Lisa shouted, pointing ahead. "Those rocks, there's Shadow." Ven adjusted his course, muscles screaming in protest. The shadow she'd spotted was actually the entrance to a canyon, its walls high enough to provide cover from both the sun and the gunfire. He dove into the narrow opening just as bullets sparked off the stone behind them. The canyon was blessedly cool, and it twisted deeper into the cliff face. Ven ran until the sounds of pursuit faded, until his legs finally gave out and he collapsed against the stone wall, still holding Lisa in his arms. They stayed like that for a moment, both gasping for air, hearts pounding in sync. "You broke rule number 1, Lisa said finally, her voice hoarse. "I know you could have gotten us both killed. I know." Lisa pulled back to look at him, and to Vin's surprise, there was no anger in her eyes. Instead, something that looked almost like respect gleamed there. "You saved our lives." Vin managed a tired smile. "Sometimes rules need to be broken, Your Highness." She laughed, a short, breathless sound. "Don't call me that. Out here I'm just Lisa." "All right, just Lisa," Ven said. "Let's find some water and figure out how to get you home." As they ventured deeper into the canyon, Lisa walked beside him instead of behind him. The dynamic had shifted. She'd learned that survival sometimes meant breaking the rules, and he'd learned that royalty didn't mean someone couldn't be brave, adaptable, and strong. The mercenaries' voices echoed from the canyon entrance, but Vin and Lisa kept moving forward. They'd broken rule number 1 and survived. Whatever came next, they'd face it together, rules or no rules. In the distance, the canyon opened up to reveal a hidden valley, green with vegetation and the shimmer of water. Lisa grabbed Vin's hand, and together they walked toward salvation. 2 survivors who'd learned that sometimes the most important rule was knowing when to break all the others. Behind them, the mercenaries' frustrated shouts faded into the wind. The canyon was too narrow for their vehicles, and pursuing on foot through the twisting passages would be treacherous. Then knew they had bought themselves precious time, maybe enough to reach civilization, maybe enough to call for help. "My father used to say that rules are like armor," Lisa said as they walked. They protect you, but they can also weigh you down. He died following protocol during an attack instead of running when he had the chance. Ven squeezed her hand gently. I'm sorry, don't be. He taught me the value of rules. And today you taught me the value of knowing when to abandon them. We both needed that lesson. As they emerged into the valley, the cool water of a spring beckoning them forward, Ven realized that this mission had changed him too. He'd broken orders, defied his principles' direct command, and risked everything on instinct. But they were alive, and sometimes that was the only rule that mattered.